Buenos dias all! RGT85 here. Hope everyone's having a great day. I had a busy day yesterday. 2 videos on the channel. Make sure you guys go check out both of those if you haven't already. But after this one, of course, because you have to watch this video. We have some more video game news to talk about because this week has just been popping. And hey, that's a good thing. We're only at Tuesday and there's tons of stuff to talk about. If this is your first time on the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share if you really enjoyed the video. But without any further ado, let's talk about what's going on in the world of video games. And we have to talk about the problem with God of War Ragnarok. I've seen a lot of people talking about this, a lot of very interesting takes, and I just want to throw my 2 cents into the mix because it's my channel and I want to voice my opinion. But basically what's happening with God of War Ragnarok is God of War creator David Jaffe, who of course, like I said, made God of War, made the original God of War games that were available on the PlayStation 2, basically said that to him, he thought this game looked more like a God of War 2018, the reboot DLC, more than a full-on game. And a lot of people have gotten very upset by that. The Sony ponies are rustling in the stables, getting ready to attach a unicorn to their head so they could stab David Jaffe. And I look at this in a bunch of different ways. First off, obviously, a sequel is going to look similar to the source material, especially with this game in question. I mean, God of War Ragnarok is obviously using the same engine. You could say the same thing about the God of War games that David Jaffe made, because God of War to God of War 2, depending on how you look at it and what sort of light you look at it, it looks similar to the original game. That's kind of the point of sequels. When you're not doing something like a full-on reboot or anything like that, a sequel is obviously going to draw inspiration and draw things from the original game, especially when it's a continuing story or something like that. So obviously God of War Ragnarok is going to look similar to God of War, just like, you know, God of War 2 looks similar to God of War 1 on the PlayStation 2. So I don't think he necessarily meant it in a bad way, but a lot of people took that into a negative connotation. And to me, it's just sort of like, look, at the end of the day, if you like something and you think something is cool, like that's all that matters. And if people disagree with you, like that's fine. If you don't go, you know, there's tons of games that I dislike, or games that I just never really got into that people absolutely love. I don't insult the people who love those games. I just don't understand it as much because it's not a game for me. It's like music or movies. Everything is subjective to what you like and your personal taste. The problem is, and a YouTuber recently got in some very hot water over this, is he didn't like something and then a certain movie, and then he also insulted the people that do like it. You can't do that. You can't do that. Like, I might joke around about it at the end of the day, just be like, oh, if you like this game, you're a weirdo. But, you know, that's just me joking around, messing around, having a bit of a laugh, because, you know, at the end of the day, I kind of like the original God of War a little bit more than the God of War reboot, because I like that faster gameplay style. I like the fact that Kratos was just like banging chicks and, you know, doing whatever he wanted. Like literally in the game, there are mini games to bang chicks in it. And like that to me is funny. And that's sort of, you know, a different style of game, because now the character is obviously older. He has a son. He's kind of like that club chick who finally decided to settle down after having 3 kids, and she gets really fat. And you're like, oh, you're a completely different person. So like this version of Kratos is a different person than the one that we were accustomed to. And that's fine. People grow, people mature, people change over the course of time. You don't want to be doing the same thing over and over again in a video game. So obviously the game is going to look similar to the original game because it's using the same engine. It's just improving upon it. Sony themselves really haven't shown all that much as far as what's going to be more expansive in this game. And of course there's going to be more expansive things in this game. It's going to be a full-on video game. You could say that Miles Morales felt like DLC to the original Spider-Man, but they managed to make it completely different because of the character, because of the story, and just because of how everything was a bit more tight and a bit more compact. So saying something looks like DLC, if you're saying that in a negative connotation, like that doesn't make sense to me, especially when you're talking about a game that was very critically received and a game that a lot of people love, especially considering the fact that we've only seen a few very brief trailers of this game. What was the longest one? Like 4 or 5 minutes? You know, we're going to get a state of play on this or something like that. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what David Jaffe says. It doesn't matter what I say. It's all about what you want, what you like, and what you gravitate towards. And if you disagree with Jaffe, like that's cool, but don't let it consume you. Don't let it ruin your day and like get angry about it. It's video games, baby. It's video games at the end of the day. It's all love. Let's have fun with video games. Like, I don't get it. We can get upset about things and things can bother us, but like, don't let it ruin your day. You know, Grados is that fat club chick now. And finally, Nintendo's getting a little wild out there. They're getting a little crazy, a little off the walls. And I think this means something for another Nintendo game as well, because Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and this is a perfect example of what we just talked about, but we'll get into that in a minute. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was a game scheduled for the Nintendo Switch to be releasing in the month of September, and a lot of people are very excited for this. A lot of people love Xenoblade, and I like it. I really enjoyed the first game in the series when I first played it on my Wii. Xenoblade Chronicles X, I think, is fantastic. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, didn't really like it that much. You know, it was okay. I couldn't get into it like I did with the other Xenoblade games, and people got mad at me for that because I didn't like a video game that they liked. I don't see how that has any bearing on your life, but alas, you know, that's the Twitter world and social media world we live in. But Xenoblade Chronicles 3, I thought looked really good from what we've seen so far. It looks similar. You could say it looks like DLC, but at the end of the day, it's obviously a new game in the franchise continuing a story. Well, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was originally scheduled to be coming out in the month of September, but Nintendo actually bumped up the release date today, July 29th. So it's like, what the hell? What the hell? How are you changing release dates but bumping them up? Like, you don't see that. You don't see that very often, if at all, in video games, because developers and publishers always want more time to do certain things. But with Xenoblade Chronicles 3, that's what they're actually doing. It's been bumped up, I guess, essentially like 2 full months, because probably that game was going to come out towards the tail end of September. Nintendo usually just likes to put things at the end of the month. So now this game is coming out on July 29th for your Nintendo Switch. They released a new trailer for the game showing things off. I think it looks pretty good. You know, my problem with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was that it just took so damn long for everything to get going. And by the time everything got going, I had just sort of lost interest in it. Like, I played for like 16 or 17 hours, and I just felt like I hadn't really accomplished all that much. And, you know, in a game like that, I want to have a bit more satisfaction within the first, 10 to 20 hours. And I felt like that game just didn't offer it for me, so I did not continue it. I know a lot of people love that game. If you love that game, I am proud of you. I am glad, and I hope you continue to enjoy it. But, hopefully Xenoblade Chronicles 3 fixes things for me personally. Now, this game looks really damn good. That was kind of another problem with Xenoblade Chronicles 2, was the fact that in handheld mode, it looked absolutely just a blurry mess. But I kind of equate that to the fact that, let's be real, this was probably a Wii U game that was hastily ported over to the Nintendo Switch, where you would be able to play the full game on this small tablet device that's not attached to something, or like the Wii U gamepad. This was obviously a bit more different and a bit more advanced as far as playing your games. You didn't need to be within like 2 feet of a sensor on the Wii U in order to play it. So I felt like that sort of held that game back. So hopefully, it looks better in handheld mode. It's better optimized for the Switch. But the real question is now, well, this game's coming out on July 29th. So something obviously has to be changing. Something obviously has to be getting delayed. And I don't think it's Breath of the Wild 2, because everyone sort of thinks, oh, well, Nintendo delayed Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 into 2023. So now this means that Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is taking its place. And I disagree with that. I think squids and kids are going to be a little upset this summer, because I think Splatoon 3 is getting delayed. That's the game that I see having the issue to where now it's not going to be a summertime release like we've been talking about and it was anticipated to be, and this game will instead be coming out in September or October or towards the tail end of the year. And there's no real rhyme or reason as to why that is, but it's probably just they want to add more stuff to the game. They want to do additional stuff to the game, and for whatever reason they are running out of time, or they feel like they need more time. So Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is sliding up into that spot. You have to imagine though, if they're releasing this big ass RPG in the month of July on the 29th, that this game has to be like pretty much done. you know, it has to be pretty much done for them to be confident enough to boost up that release date, because obviously you have to, when you change a release date, you have to do a lot of things. You have to, you know, change manufacturing, you have to change when this game is going to be available in stores and stuff. So there's a lot of things behind the scenes with this. They're also doing like a big ass collector's edition, which I think looks pretty cool. You know, I might end up picking it up because I actually own the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and the Xenoblade Chronicles X collector's editions, but I'm interested to see how this pans out. I want to see a little bit more gameplay, see the battle system a little bit more. I feel like this is a game that would be good for like a state of play. You know how Sony does their little states of play? I think this would be a good game for a Nintendo state of play, like, or a Nintendo mini direct where you break down what's changed from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, because I think that's going to be important for a lot of people, because you know, you want this game to be successful. But yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 coming on July 29th now instead of the month of September. And to Splatoon 3, I had to say bye, because I think you're getting delayed. Alrighty, so that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to give me your feedback in the comment section down below. God of War Ragnarok, is there a problem with it? David Jaffe messing with you and you can't sleep at night now? Like, let it go. Let it go. And Xenoblade Chronicles 3, are you excited to get your greasy little mitts on this game when it comes out on July 29th instead of September now? Because I think it's going to be a pretty popular game. And as always, thank you guys for checking out this video. Like I said earlier, there are 2 new videos on the channel from yesterday. Make sure you guys go check both of those out. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Later.